Hey, hey, hey. Morning out here in Sky Blue fishing. Super dark. Light's about to come out. About to throw some lines in the water. See what we can catch out here at Sky Blue fishing. Going for some big trout. Hope everyone's doing well today. Super early here. Sun's about to crest here in a bit. Perfect time for trout fishing, y'all. Perfect time. All right. Let's get some fish this morning. All right, we're coming into view. Getting those lines tight. Waiting on the big slam. Yeah, good. We can see the lines, we can see the poles. I don't really need it. We're about to break daylight. You got the beauty of Northern California. Matthew, good morning. First light. Fishy. Perfect timing, mate. Got the just threw the rods in. Marshmallow and a night crawler. About to get a break of day out here, y'all. It's gonna be real nice. You're gonna get a sunrise over the back tree lines you guys are looking at. We are hoping for a big takedown. Water's rising. Bean water. Mighty fun. Hopped up on the bean, man. Hopped up on the bean. Yeah, this lake's going to rise about another 7 feet here soon. They like to keep it pretty full come tourist. That was me. Come tourist season. Got a bridge that's right back behind me. There's signs posted all over it, but people jump off it anyway. Gets about 20 feet deep underneath it, and so they like that extra 10 feet of lake height. Helps with the boaters. Helps with the kayaking. Come on, fishes. Oh, it's so nice out here in the morning. It's about 37 right now. We get these drastic swings. Just threw it out yet, Johnny. No bites yet. But that was I just tossed the lines out 2 minutes ago. Yeah, exactly. It's a pedestrian footbridge, so it's just a walking bridge. You know, you could drive a little quad on it if you had to. There's a couple real nice rope swings that people have made for this lake. The kids love here. Burko, I peeked in on you for a little while last night, bud. Was watching you. I didn't say much. Some days I just lurk and chat because I'm not feeling like talking, or chats just flying by. Some chats are just booking, and I'm like, I got nothing good to say. Yeah. I wasn't the best, most comfortable person in water. I wasn't the best swimmer, so I didn't do that stuff when a lot of my friends jumped in. Did a lot of swimming. Nah. Yeah, I just like watching you sometimes. I had fun watching you. Just sit and listen to you. Were talking to a nice guy who walked up on you the other day, Burko. You were telling him all about the channel and all kinds of cool stuff. I was just listening. Yeah, I feel the same. I feel the same, Fishy. Yep. Yeah. I noticed there's kind of a difference. Some people will just put their lives on and then just leave their fishing gear on, and they'll do a full day live. And I'll pop in and I'll try to interact, and I don't get anything because they're not even maybe close to the phone. And it's just not quite the same. When I hang out with your lives, Fishy, I notice it's the same thing. There'll be moments where it just chills and relaxes, and then you get some commentator, or some commentary, I should say, from someone in chat. It just sparks up the whole day. Then you can go on, a 10-minute talk or joke cycle with some bouncer said. But without that, it's a little different. You got to sit there constantly, try to be the entertainer or come up with new things. And like you're realizing with the joke world, there's only so many fish jokes out there, and you start getting the repeats. And then, like, say, how long do you want to be the game show host? And, do that voice all live long. I could get it. Maybe an hour of your live. Do the funny man commentator. Then, so you got to really think about what you want your show to be known for. I noticed that yesterday when you kind of put a halt on some of the joking. It's like, all right, what am I trying to do? I like your one joke a day thing. That made sense. Yeah, I get it, man. I learn a lot. Horse life. Oh, I'm glad you like fishing. Me too, man. I love fishing. I just put the rods out. Just getting some beautiful light out here. It's going to start getting brighter and brighter. I'm in Northern California, so this is sunrise for us. Fat Cat, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, Fishy, I watch a lot of different lives, and I've been watching them for 4 or 5 months now. Tara, good morning. I'm so glad you popped in, Tara. We're out here in Northern California. I just threw the lines in. Hobo, good to see you again, mate. Hey, Horse Life, I really appreciate that. Me too. Some big fish in here, man. Big fish. Good morning, Hobo. Yeah, we got fluctuating water. We got a bunch of water rising right now, so the fish have a whole lot more room to explore. It's going to be about 75 out here again today, so the temperatures are warming, which slowly warms the water. Might get the bass and some of the other fish finally wake up. It's kind of a smaller lake. We're up at about 3,500 feet, so it's not really a high alpine lake. Oh, it's really peaceful out here. Spend my morning getaway. Wake up, come out here for, just an hour or two. Even if I don't catch fish, it's just great to wake up like this. Oh, thanks, Horse Life. Like and subscribe, man. Come hang out. Well, I try to go live a lot. I'm gonna nail down my schedule. It's gonna fluctuate. Looking like about 6:30 now is a good time to start popping up. Then it'll go to 6 in the morning. Sweet Horse Life. Yeah, it really is. It really is fishy, you know. And I'm lucky. It's literally, 2 miles from home, so it takes me about 7 minutes to get here. Super easy drive through town. Bam, bam. That's why I looked at it. I'm 53, and so at my age, it's about quality of life. The hustle's the hustle. You got to take care of life. You got to pay your bills. You got to earn stuff. So it came down to what's going to give me the best quality of life that I need right now. My kid, 18, is the youngest. Sweet hobo. Yeah, I hear you, man. I feel you. Some days it's like that. I got to let that, the adult has to take over and do all the work, and then lets the kid come out and play. And if you do it right, you got a little extra money or a little whatever so the kid can go enjoy himself. So that's what I try to do. Balance that little kid in me that loves to just play. And, I play drums. So there's a part of me that just wants to bang on my drum all day. I don't want to work. I just want to bang on my drum all day. Yeah, I noticed that, Fishy. I noticed that. I don't think it was you. I think it was somebody else. Someone came up, and it might have been Grease. Yeah, I could only imagine. I've seen some pretty inappropriate things on lives where strangers come up, man. Oh man, Hobo, that's perfect. You got it right, mate. You got it right. Kids can take care of themselves, do their own thing, and enjoy the fruits of all that hard work. I did great job raising my kids, and they're doing well, and so it's like time to enjoy. Fat cat. Ooh, we got the ducks coming in. Yep. The energy of youngsters is great. They'll come in my shop, and they'll have, I have a variance of children, and some children just don't know what they're doing. And so I got to warn them to be careful. And then other kids who are, little mini geologists and stuff like that, they'll come in and they'll want to talk stones all day, and they'll have their own collection. And they remind me of myself when I was young. I just started collecting rocks as a little guy. They were all over my dressers, and it'll just be great. The mom is like, "Oh, Gen X." Yeah, I got a little early start. It's so nice out. Taking a page out of Fishy's book, learning from my peers, my elders in that realm. I may be a little older than Fishy, but he's a little wiser in certain ways, so he's my elder. Oh, the sun's coming out nice. We got a little bit of pink in the clouds. Ospreys are flying in. Yeah, I really enjoy the youth, And then there's some that the parents just haven't done as much work as they need to teach them how to be a polite young child, if you will. Store I have, I got tons of breakables, so we got signs everywhere of please, please, if you break it, you buy it kind of reality. All right, let's try to recast this over to a different zone. I like to work the early middle part first. Yeah, a big time digger. I've been digging. I dig lots of things, but yeah, I've been digging crystals and stones for almost 30 years or so now, making jewelry and you know, with machines, cabochons, and or just making beaded jewelry, stuff like that. Yeah, exactly, man. And you're networking, you know, connected with Lashana, Oso, stuff like that. I don't think I saw you in Lashana's live last night. Maybe you came in a little bit later. I was also working, and I was just listening, so I wasn't active chat last night, Lashana. But she gave you a big shout out. She talked about you for a while, about 5 minutes. She talked about the success you got going on. She quoted some of your lives and some of the views and hours and stuff you were getting. So you might have been there. I don't know if I saw you, but it's great. It's great having, you know, learning from that. It's like, oh, okay. You know, I wouldn't have thought of doing some of the things like that. Making beads hobo. That's a whole nother interesting one, man. I've only done a few of those. We have a fairly nice sized workshop. Yeah, you should watch that replay. You'd like it. And in our workshop, we have a nice gentleman who hangs out with us all the time, and he makes incredible beads, man. He's a carving kind of guy, so he's got this Dremel action going on. I was getting a little hit there. He blows me away with the beadwork he can do with the Dremel and stuff like that. And he'll sit there and etch things in, do inlay kind of work. So he'll carve a ring out of a stone, and so he'll take, you know, it'll be like a totally round looking beautiful ring. Yeah, you know what I mean. You know, I'm sure if you're in the mineral world, bead world, then you've probably gone to Tucson many a times, and that, you know, Tucson prices are pretty good. But we're finding nowadays that there's a bunch of online bead people that can beat the wholesale prices that we see at these giant shows. So some of these Etsy shops and some of these other people, man, they just have it gotten on, man. Heck yeah, man. 100. Yo, legend in the house. ATC's in the house. Wow, man. Yo ho ho. Yeah, that's great, man. Fat Cat, that's really cool. I've actually found ones that have kind of their own little faces on them and stuff. That was me bumping that rod. I found one that looked just like a monkey. Yeah, we use that size rounds too. We use up to about 10 or 12. We found a pretty cool thing that we'll do. Sometimes we'll take like a 12 millimeter bead and we'll cut it in half on our saw. And then we'll have a perfect like little half cabochon. And we got 2 little cabochons out of it, if you will. And we put them in rings and things like that, because there's these preset little 12 millimeter sterling silver, you know, already done ring that just you just need to crimp it over. And so those have worked great for us. We love messing with beads and kind of out of the box kind of ways. I once did a show where there's this older cat who was a bead guy, and he just sat there and he had all these really interesting stones, and he would shape them first. Oh, I'm getting a hit on that one. You guys probably saw that. Wind chimes. You ever used obsidian needles? The obsidian needle wind chime kind of thing, man. I've made a handful of those, and those are really cool because those things sing when they bang together. They're actually pretty darn strong. I wonder if he took my marshmallow. That was a decent little hit. That was a decent little hit, man. He could have marshmallowed me. I'm like the Lucky Charms of the fishermen. Got to have my marshmallow. Oh, that was bad. That was not where I wanted that cast to go. Let's see if that works better. Better cast, maybe a better fish. All right, I'm gonna have to recheck that one in a second just to make sure. Sweet, man. That's great about the beads. That sounds really cool. That sounds really beautiful, man. I was trying to picture it in my head by reading the whole description of what you got going on with those chimes. That sounds amazing, man. Yo, bad decisions. You're going to go fishing today, Gavin? Oh, man, how fun. We're out here trout fishing. Oh, I'm getting a bite. Getting a bite on the trout rod. They're just a teasing. They're like little bites. Not commitment kind of bites. I want the big slam. Like, oh, I'm going to eat that worm bite. I got to go check that, though. That's 2 bites in a row. My marshmallow's gone. Then I'm just wasting my time out here. Oh, I see my marshmallow. Make sure the weight's good. This is what I'm fishing with. Marshmallow and a super juicy neck crawler. Yo, appreciate that. Decision. Catfish. Man, I watch a lot of people catch catfish. Got a buddy in live that's a great catfish guy and carp catching people. I learn a lot from him, man. It is beautiful out here this morning. We're in Northern California, about an hour from the Oregon border. 66, what's up? Get your kicks on Route 66. We are hoping for some big trout. Got a couple little bites. Oh, Fat Cat, that's good, man. What kind of fish are you catching again? It gets so strange out here because I have a lot of good rivers. Yeah. All right, Gavin, that'd be great. Yeah, Fat Cat. Northern California and Southern California are a couple different worlds, man. You know, San Diego, or if you were at El Toro, maybe way back. United States Air Force Marine Base in El Toro. Cat and carp, man. Yeah. That's that, you know, I've caught a couple cats on accident here. We got some small flatheads in here. 7-pounders, maybe something like that. But man, I've never caught any like I've seen these people catching, like them noodlers, stuff like that. Watch Hannah Bear and do that noodling. Oh, we're getting hit. We're getting a hit. Oh, my marshmallow's off, man. I can see my marshmallow just floating over there. He took it. That was all that was left. I'm not going to catch nothing with that, man. Nothing. Oh, yeah. Much different world out there in San Diego, man. Much different world. My dad was in the National Guard. My uncle was in the Army his whole life. Retired that way. Stayed in there till it's probably almost 60. But that was up in Oregon. Yeah. Those Big Blue, man, they look pretty fun. It's great hanging out in the fishing community because you get exposed to, you know, fish like gar and things like that I wasn't too familiar with. I'd heard about, but then you watch people talk about some of these giant pikes. All right, let's get that back out there and catch one of these buttes. Come on, John Fishing. Gotta bite good. At least I'm getting action. It's the days with no action that get tough. I feel for you at times, Fishy, when you're just sitting there hanging out. I mean, it's so much better to have action every, you know, half hour minimum or so, but when you got to chill for 2 hours without a bite, it's like, oh boy. It's like same with this. I'm fishing for trout, and so they got their, you know, trout have a pattern of activity that's very high in the morning, very high at dusk, and I know better than to come here at midday. It's beautiful, it's enjoyable. I'll see a lot of people, they'll come and just kind of camp out, bring their lawn chairs and stuff, and just spend the day, cook a little food. Your chances of catching fish are so minimal. I've done it many times because I wanted to learn it, prove it, test it, however you want to call it. And I've sat out here and just wasted worm. I go to my local bait shop and gal giggles at me. She's like, oh, you buying more worms to feed the fish? And I'm like, yeah. She always laughs because it seems like that's what you do half the time is your worms are just getting tossed out. So far, I think I've gone through 2 worms this morning. Just feeding the fish. It's all part of it, though. But not having the bite, that's got to be tough, you know. And I'm watching a few different people. I think Chaos Goat's one of them that was saying he's just waiting for things to pick up. Yeah, exactly. I had to learn that. I was doing a lot of GoPro footage for a while. Before I went live, I wanted to kind of get an understanding. I wanted to get a few videos on my channel and stuff like that. And I would I would take off my GoPro and I'd have my lines in the water. And I'd start packing up stuff slowly. And wham! I'd catch the biggest fish I caught. And camera was off. So after a little while, I learned, I'm like, no, I'm going to keep that GoPro on until the very last second. That's the last thing that's coming off is that GoPro. Yeah, exact. You know what I mean? I'm similar to you, Fishy. I wanted to learn. You did more infrastructure work than me. I didn't think about all that. I run a couple other businesses too, so I Not necessarily sure if I can put full-time work into trying to create a YouTube. But watching, watching certain growth, watching how Justin is doing it over there on Thunderstruck. It's just been like crazy, you know. Watch Bob for 6 months or more, and watching the steadiness that he gets, and seeing Bouncer and ATC, seeing a lot of Skeeter, MVP, a lot of established people, and seeing the consistency that they get day in, day out. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I couldn't do the entertainment thing for 7 hours live. That would be tough. Even just constantly engaging with chat. Imagine after like 3 or 4 hours. Yeah, exactly. The constant stuff, the hours. Justin is slamming it. I mean, he is putting. It looks like that's his second job or his full-time job, and his other job is just a part-timer. And that's great, and you can see it. It's like Justin will be the next up and coming. I got long format video guys I watch, and they do live once a week just for like a tutorial kind of thing. And then they blew up pretty well out here. But they did the thing where they opened up a shop and they make all their own line of everything. And their internet business has expanded like you wouldn't believe. They probably got 6 employees now just to run in the mail order. And I've bought endless things from them. Yeah. Yeah, I noticed like last night was a different time slot for you, but y'all said you got 100 likes, and I don't know what views and different aspects for total watch hours and things might have switched on you, but your likes sure were through the roof last night too. I think consistency will help. It's hard for me because I follow the early morning sunrise. Well, I can't. If I chose 8 a.m. every day, I'll be out here when there's no fish. The fish would have been biting at 6 in the morning. Being a fishing channel, I assume that's the purpose, is that people want to see doing your best to catch, having a large percentage of a chance to catch a fish. I got a couple like bluegill areas and things over here, but I've been reluctant to go do that. I'll watch Bob drill a hole in the ice and just catch up little guy after a little guy and just toss him back. And fish 18. And it's like, for me, it gets stale after a while. It's like, it's just catching them teeny tiny little guys. So I don't know how much everyone would want to watch me just pulling up little bluegill after bluegill. It's almost like dip net. You just throw a little baby worm on there and bam, you got bluegill. Out here, I'm using the type of bait presentation that typically targets the larger fish. I'm not using power bait, not using something that I think will get the freshly stocked fish's attention. So my bite percentages go down, if you will. But that's just kind of my target fish of choice. I want to get you guys one of these biggies here. Try to get a boat. That's my plan for the summer, is get a small little 14-footer. Oh, there's a fish right there, right by me. That was crazy. Yeah, yes, I did set it to all messages. Yeah, I was noticing too. I was watching different tips from different people. The guy was showing that there's when you go to post, your maybe with your live, but all your regular videos, there's a section there that talks about altered content, and you pop on it, and it's not chosen. It doesn't say yeah. Yep, I saw that, dude. Belly flop. And so that section that says altered content, you always want to hit no on that one. and it basically asks you if AI or anything like that has been involved with any of the things that is on your video. And if you don't click that one no, it kind of doesn't produce it, doesn't throw it out in the algorithm as much as if you do actually hit no on it, because it's got a yes or no option and it's just left blank until you actually hit one of them. But until you hit no, they won't massively throw you in the right algorithm. Ooh, an osprey. Osprey just took down a fish. Nikki, hey Blue. Let's see if we can get you guys to see this. Let's see. Any chance? Yeah, there's an osprey right there in the water, guys. Sorry, it's not the best conditions, but oh, he's just taking off with that. Is he going to come this way? Yeah, he might come this way with it. Hear the other osprey? Yeah, here he comes. There's the osprey. He's got a fish. He's got a fish in him right now. He caught a fish. Good osprey. He caught the fish. Oh, yeah. Good job, buddy. Oh, I love those ospreys. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I tried to zoom out there. So, hey. I had to zoom out there to try to pick him up because he was so far away. Phone isn't the best quality for that. I have a real nice Canon camera with some real nice lenses and stuff like that. So I can go out here and take some great digital photos. It's got a video option on it, and I tried to take some videos, but it's just not as good as it needs to be for the fast movement of the birds. Well, I can take some amazing stills with it. I got a couple real nice lenses, so I can zoom up from real far away. Oh, yeah. I don't blame you, SW. It is beautiful, man. Saw you hanging out in Lashana's last night, Southwest. It was a good live she did. I was working. I had I got a fairly good size, you can call it garden if you want, but it's a mini farm. And so I got about 500 starts going on in my little LED grow tent thingy that I got for my baby starts. Cookiana, good morning. And so last night I was mixing up soil and getting all kinds. So I was sitting there, basically I was adding all these amendments. I was adding azamites and adding some feather meal and all kinds of other stuff like that. Because if you buy store soil, it's pretty dead. Can't wait to see you start hooking up with people. Fishy, your collaborations. You got going on one with Cindy here soon. It seems like you and Southwest might be hooking up. I was looking at McWalleye, and old McWalleye. I mean, he ain't that far from you. I mean, you know, up there, that Lake Manitoba, I think he said. And I was like, man, he could book down. You know, probably a good day's jaunt for him. He come do something with y'all. You're so welcome, Cookiana. So nice to have you here. We're here in Northern California. The beauty of this amazing lake. Sun just crested. It's going to pop over these trees in another hour or so. Oh, man, that's so good. An hour, man. That's great. That's really great. I say hi to this guy, Andrew, who pops in a lot. He lives up in Oregon. We're about 4 hours from each other. It's about the closest I found so far. couple Bay Area cats. Yeah, isn't it something over here? I'll pan you guys so you can see down. This is where the water comes in. It's really nice. Cooking. That sounds nice. What you got cooking today, Cookiana? Yeah, Canada's interesting. I've had many good experiences. I've had a few bad experiences in Canada trying to get across. Ooh, some beautiful sun over there. Let's pan you guys. You can see the bridge. That's where everyone likes to jump. Yeah, SW. I looked into moving there about about 24 years ago. Ooh, this is 66. Where this is Siskiyou. This is Siskiyou. About 80. What? About a little over an hour from Bernie. About an hour from Bernie Falls. Yeah, I really I had friends who moved up into the Kootenays, Canada, if you will, north of Spokane, by this town called Nelson, and I went up there and visited. Greece, what up? Greece is the word. It's the word. Have you heard? It's got groove. It's got feeling. Yep. Canada would have been interesting. My buddy who got citizenship up there, he married a Canadian gal, and this was in the year of 2000, so about 25 years ago. And it was a long, drawn out process. He had to have about $18,000 in the bank. They had to have another Canadian citizen vouch for you for like a 3-year period. So if you get in trouble, that other person gets in the same like legal trouble, DUI, whatever, anything stupid. So it was a real long process for him to get citizenship, even though he had a child in Canada with her. They were married. Yeah. I heard you talking about hook size, fishy. Now I was thinking about that. You know, it's the same thing out here. It's like I say, if I wanted to throw a smaller presentation of power bait, I could catch them little guys. And it sounded like you were hoping for a particular style fish yesterday as well. All right, the sun is out. Come on, fishes. Yep. Yeah, you know, they used to do a lot. They used to do a lot with hemp. You know, they really did. It's such a versatile plant. I mean, look at our founding forefathers. You know, George Washington had hemp farm, stuff like that. They used to make, you know, the canvas for the sails for all their other boats, all the ropes, all these things were made out of it. It was such a different world back then, before like the paper companies kind of got jealous of it all and wanted to infiltrate that world. I studied plants for a few years from this beautiful herbalist. It was a Cherokee woman. Yeah, exactly. Prohibition was a weird day, weird time in life. And my herb teacher was really, really wonderful Cherokee woman, and she traveled the world teaching herbs and learning herbs. And she ran into this old herbalist woman. She asked her, if you went to another planet, you could only bring one plant, only one plant. Yo, Jack, good morning. You could only bring one plant from this world, what would you take to another planet? And her answer was stinging nettle. Out of all the plants on Earth that she would take with her, she would take stinging nettle. I thought that was pretty interesting. And so stinging nettle has all kinds of medicinal purposes. It's got nutritional purposes. You can make clothing out of it. You can make fiber. You can make rope with it. Just about everything you can do with hemp, you can do with stinging nettle, but then you can eat it. And it's got medicinal purposes as well. So stinging nettle is a pretty versatile plant. Doesn't really grow around where I'm at. Unfortunately, it's not really it's not moist enough. I'm from up in Oregon, and we just had so much water and rain and all these like little fern gully kind of areas that are just damp, moist, and that seems like where the stinging nettles like to grow out here. It's just a little too dry. I'm in this interesting area. Yeah, I'm about an hour from this place called Medford, Oregon. It's in the southern part of Oregon, and I go up there, and there's all these giant hemp farms. And so you'll drive along, and it'll be about 6 or 8 big greenhouses, and then they got about 3 football fields worth of just beautiful hemp plants just growing everywhere. It's so neat to see. It had such a weird energy to those plants in the 80s and stuff. People had such a hatred toward. Oh, getting a hit! We're getting a hit. Come on, big guy, take it, take it. Don't mess around. No little hit. Just messing with me. Yeah, exactly, man. That Ralph Simpson oil that people made, just incredible. It was sad what happened to that gentleman. Created such a beautiful gift for humanity, and then they just toast him and raid him and get rid of all his stuff. Yep. Yeah, I can believe that. I've gotten into a natural style gardening and farming, so I make a lot of my own nutrients. I might do one just for the fishing people to understand. One of the simplest things you can do is take your fish or fish scraps and just mix equal weight with fish and brown sugar and put it in a bucket. Put it in an old milk jug if you can cut it up, whatever you have to do. Put it in a little mason jar. You mix those two together, equal part cut up fish, guts, everything, all the grossness, everything tossed in there. Then you pack an equal part brown sugar on top of it. Let it sit for a couple months at least in a good warm environment. Yep, I get that, Jack. I'm up here, and a lot of growers up here, and so that's called fish amino acids. And I got about 5 or 6 5-gallon buckets full of it. That's been brewing up since last year. So it's one of the simplest and easiest things you can make. It doesn't have a smell. It doesn't have a terrible byproduct issue like some of these other nutrients that we ferment and do weird things to. And you talk about your plants absolutely loving you. And so I know a lot of people will want to check that just to make sure. A lot of people will throw their fish scraps into their garden or something. But in this sense, you can actually proactively make your own fish food, plant food, in a real easy way. It gives you also a lot, ecological smart thing to do with your scraps. So I might show people at some point if there's enough interest, if anyone is curious. There's a ton of videos out there for making that stuff, but you kind of got to know. Ooh, I can hear the osprey. Hope you guys can hear it. You have to know what a fish amino acid is and kind of like search it out. But I was just going to be like, yo. No, man, fish oil. I haven't done that. That'd be interesting. Remember the days of like cod liver oil taken? The generation before us used to take stuff called castor oil. That is a gross product there, man. Yeah. I don't know about that, man. I've seen those fish oil things, but ooh. I studied the oil, omega oil things. Got to learn like the right balance, because just because something has the omega-3s and omega-6s and stuff like that. Yeah, that's what I've seen before, is those little like gelatin tabs, those little like vitamin E kind of guys I've seen with fish oil. A whole lot of bird action going on out here. Oh, it's nice out here. We've got a cormorant coming in. Double-breasted cormorant over here. Yeah, yesterday was a busy day as well. Release. I was doing a lot of. It's getting warm here. We had some nice warm days, so I was over there working the land, transplanting raspberries. Yeah, the ospreys just showed up about 2 weeks ago. Just showed up. I just showed one on camera a minute ago. He snagged a fish. They're really cool guys. They'll grab a fish and then they'll circle around. My thought is they're waiting for the fish to stop wiggling. But they'll circle around for about 2 minutes or so, and then he'll go land in a tree and eat the fish. Osprey is the only bird of prey, bird of prey being, falcon, hawks, owls, vultures, things with those big talons. The only bird of prey that eats nothing but fish. He doesn't eat frogs. He doesn't eat salamanders. He doesn't eat snail, newt, squirrel, nothing. That's all osprey does, is eat fish, pure fish. That's why he's like fisherman's dude. Same with this cormorant. We got these cool cormorants out here, and over in Japan and other areas like that, they've been known to hang out with fishermen and like bring them fish. Go down into the water, grab one, and actually give them the fish. So that'd be pretty cool, man. These cormorants are like really good dudes. Yeah, I love that osprey, man. I watched this one YouTube video someone had, and they were like, "Oh, the most lucky squirrel in the world," and the squirrel like climbs up to a giant nest where there was some ospreys living in there, and he pops up and he pops over the nest where they're sitting on the eggs, and the squirrel's like, "Oh," has this look of like total terror, and but they're osprey, and so they just yell at him, and then he splits. But any other bird of prey, that they would have been like, "All right, Uber Eats showed up." If it would have been a hawk or an eagle, they just would have munched that little squirrel down. Like, yes. That little squirrel was so like freaked out, man. And then, yeah, perfect fishy. They're even in live. And then he just booked out, and the ospreys were just mad at him for popping his little head into their nest. But they won't even take a free meal like that. Nope, fish and fish only. That's all they want. Ooh, fish sticks, man. Yeah. The eagles. There's not as many eagles here. Seems like we have more ospreys. Maybe it's just the water source we're in. But the eagles will have their territory, I notice. And then It seems to be much further spread out. Oh, I'm getting hit. Getting hit. We're just getting these tease hits today, guys. It's like 4. Wow. That's pretty cool. I usually see the opposite out here. I see these bald eagles that will harass the ospreys. I'll watch an osprey swoop down, snag a fish, then out of nowhere comes this bald eagle, and he'll steal it from him. But he's a little bit bigger. He's an older, serious adult bald eagle. Because the bald eagles don't get their plumage till about age 4, age 5. You look at you look online to check the water temp. I was thinking about that. I was like, oh man, I might go get like a pool thermometer or something like that. I needed to check some soil temperatures. I needed to check some water temperatures on stuff. It looked like you had fun last night, Fishy, and it looked like there was, adequate. Your buddy caught that one fish, and you got a few bites. You're getting like me out here. You're getting them little hit bites that are not really committing though. Yeah, I'm thinking it's just the transition. That transitional time. Everything's kind of waking up, going from the winter hibernation kind of energy, low metabolism, that kind of stuff. I know with the trout here, they come winter, they just don't move as much. They're nowhere near as active. So you really have to get lucky and kind of throw your presentation pretty close to them. Yep. What were you fishing for in Washington, Jack? Yeah, isn't that really interesting, Release? I watched one the other day, and Bob in Pennsylvania was just getting slammed with wind. Skeeter, I think he's in Pennsylvania too, was just getting slammed with wind. Somebody else is live, same deal, was just getting slammed. And out here, it was the same deal. It was windy as all could be. And I was like, wow, how strange. It must be like windy everywhere in the U.S. Nice, Jack. Yeah, I know the steelhead, and then the springers, spring salmon are rocking. There was the winter steelies. So I wasn't sure if you're a big river steelhead kind of guy, coastal rivers or what. But this steelhead season seemed to be pretty darn good. When I watched a lot of the Addicted Fishing guys stuff, man, they were like, "Oh, Washington had some of the best steely salmon fishing they'd had in years. California had been sucking." Yeah, that whole harp thing, man. It's going to be a bizarre one. It's like the JFK stuff where there's mysteries surrounding it for decades and we never quite know. Who knows if we'll ever find out what's really going on. It's so strange to feel like we live in a place where people can play with others like you would play with a puppet. Uh-oh, that might be a fish, guys. Oh yeah, we got a fish. Finally, got a fish. Got a fish. I saw that one hit. I was like, oh yeah, we got a fish. No skunk today. Woo! No skunk, and he's a little freakazoid. Little freakazoid. What's up, freak? What up, freaky? Freakazoid. He's a freakazoid. Freak out. Freakazoids. Assemble on the dance floor. F-R-E-A-K. Freakazoid. F-R-E-A-K. Freakazoid. Yo, get back here. Want to show the world. Want to show the world. Show the world. Fishy. Fishy, fishy. Fishy, fishy, fishy. Come on, fishy. Can we see you? Can we see you? Holly fishy. Holly fishy. Sun isn't showing me very good. Oh, look at those colors. Look at those colors. He wants back. What fishy? What fishy? Oh, he was a nice little guy. Sweet little guy. Damn right. Despite all my rage, still just a fish in a lake. Yes. No. Oh, guys, see that? I got hit. As soon as I moved it, I got a hit. Somebody playing with me, boy. Boy, I say, boy. Darn right. Yeah. I can't wait to show you guys sometime, because there's times out here in the summer where it is ridiculous, man. I'm working so fast and so incredible because I'll throw out 2 bobber rods, and it's just like wham, bobber down, bobber down, bobber down, bobber down, bobber down, bobber down. Hey, fishy, fishy things. Do you know about the copyright reality? Can we sing another song, or is that copyright as well if we actually just sit there and sing a song all the way through that's written by somebody else? So I didn't know if I can get in trouble for sitting here singing. I usually modify the lyrics ever so slightly so then it isn't somebody else's. Cool. That's what I thought. I was like, man, so I knew there might be strange things with my band and things like that. It's like, I don't think I can do a live and then play a lot of the covers that we play. Yeah, see, I it didn't make sense. It's like, well, I should be able to sing. I know when somebody else accidentally plays some music or a car pulls up, like Grease has had, or somebody pulls up jamming something, get a copyright. But I was like, you're gonna get one for singing? Oh, okay, so it's a time issue as long as it's like a clip. So my daughter was talking to me about that last night on things like Family Guy. You can use just little clips of things like that, but you can't show a whole entire show. These people that do on YouTube, she's like, their channel gets taken down about every 2 weeks because they literally replay the whole Family Guy episode. Yeah, with these with the AI stuff, I think they can just scan so quick now. It's not like a human has to sit there and be monitoring like a bunch of channels, like a security guard monitoring someone in the grocery store stealing. And so I think that's how easy it is for these AI things to just be able to pick up anything. When you guys are talking about was it? I think it was might have been Real of Life. I think I was reading on too, getting a little shafted. And so, like how the wardens will sit there and go through your videos and stuff like that. It was like, whoa, man. You know that everybody's putting stuff out there on video. So if you do anything wrong, I mean, you give them evidence to use against you. So it's like you got to be really smart. Good R&B. So yeah, that you know, it's interesting. I try my best not to be the YouTube police, but I'll hang out and I'll be in somebody else's chat and I'll see somebody pop in and I'll have to be like, yo, this person's underage, man. They can't be in this chat. Sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe I just mind my own business. But I'm like, man, I see somebody in, one of y'all else's chat that I care about. And I'm like, nah, I'm going to bring that up just so you guys all know. Because I figure if we're a fishing community and we got people that might just monitor our crap to try and make sure we're fishing legally, they may see stupid things like that, some chat related stuff, and then just, let's just throw this up the chain to YouTube. Yeah, your music's pretty darn cool, Fishy. Do you do live music, Fishy, or is it mostly just prepared stuff you like to use in, like album format, downloadable song format? Yeah, music really does, mate. Thank God my music's still alive. Sweet freedom whispered in my ear, you're a butterfly. Butterflies are free to fly. Fly away. Yeah, I get that, Fishy. I'm more about that. I'm more about the energy transference of live. I'm more about taking your instruments and amplifying your internal energy. Whatever you got inside you, whatever you got to say in this world, your instrument just kind of amplifies it. That's why we call them amplifiers. So if you're a good person and you got something cool to say, then music tends to bring it out. So the music that I like to play, and the people that we play music with, we're not perfectionists. We're not trying to be the next amazing this or that. It's all about the good energy, great danceable music that make people get out of their chair, have a good time, celebrate life. So music was for me. It was probably my oldest friend, to be honest with you. I had transistor radios. I remember listening to Brown Eyed Girl and things like that on this little teeny transistor radio when I was supposed to be going to bed. But I was like, no. Yeah, I can see that. For me, I don't have any aspirations to create any level of like success in the music industry, if you will. I like playing good music. I've been playing drums for 30 some years, a lot of hand drums. Yep. Yeah, that was my jam. Ooh. my brown-eyed girl, do you remember when we used to sing la 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 dee da. Yeah, I'm doing band practice today because I took a couple days off. My guitar buddy, he's pretty good, man. He's a shredster. He can play Allman Brothers and Grateful Dead stuff, Pink Floyd like we do really well. Pretty good ear training guy. We were doing some Doors. We was doing the song called Peace Frog. You know, he picked it up pretty well. Did Into the Mystic by Van the Man. Ooh, a little fish cresting over there. Whoa! You guys didn't see that thing, I doubt, but man, that was a tank. I want to cast where that tank is. That was a big fish, man. That was a big fish. I mean, I want to catch you guys this big fish. He was huge. Looked like a freaking loaf of bread just jumped up out of the water, man. Yeah. Whoosh. No, that's Green-Eyed Lady, Ocean Lady. MVP. Come on, man. I wanted to get that big monster, guys. That was a big trout, man. That was probably like a 24-inch big monster, slab-tastic trout. That's a green-eyed lady, lovely lady. I'm a lyricist guy, so I geek out on songs and I just sit there and I'll spend an eternity till I have the lyrics down. I'm studying this one by Elton John called Alice. All the young girls love Alice. Crazy young Alice. Oh, pretty young Alice, they say. Come over, please me. That one got stuck in my head, so I figured in the words that is an interesting song. Doubt I'd ever play it live, but all the young girls love Alice. Anytime I see an Alice pop in the chat, that's right what comes into my head. I'm like, all the young girls love Alice. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big time music guy. Big time. Hey, all right, man. Take care of yourself. I will catch you when I catch you. And if I see you on a live soon, bud, I'll come hang out in your live chit chat. Watch you catch them cool fish. Yep. I feel you. I feel you there, Fishy and MVP. I was raised up on, Waylon and Willie and the boys. You know what I mean? Lukenbach, Texas. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. They'll never stay home. They're always alone, even with someone they love. Cowboys like smoky old barrels and clear mountain mornings. Young women, girls of the night. Darn right, Fishy. Come on, Fishy. I got that one. Let me hook you up, 60. 66. 66. Sweet. I will check that out. I've checked out just a few random ones. I haven't watched the playlist though. I will do that. Oh, so good morning. You must have flew by when you first said hi. I'm sorry if I didn't respond right away. Good morning, Oso. I think I saw that Oso was scheduled. I think I read her community post yesterday. I think she was scheduled for today. I love music. You know, it really is one of my oldest friends. When I look back in life, I was probably 4 years old, and I'd have that little transistor radio, a little 9-volt battery there, and I'd put it underneath my pillow, and I would just sleep with it. Yeah, that's what I thought. Good life today. And it just really was, you know, when times were a little strange with my parents and the family life, that music was just there. It was just soothing. Oh, get hit. Oh, we got a fish on, guys. We got a fish on. Fish on. Fish on. He's giving me some. Oh, he's taking off. He's tearing out of here. He's tearing out of here. He's tearing out of here. He's not happy. He's not happy. He's out of here. Got to keep him off some of these rocks. Oh, he's out of here. He's not happy. Oh, he's not happy at all. Woo. Oh, he actually pulled himself loose. Oh, he pulled himself loose right there, and I had some good drag on. He tore up the worm. Oh, almost had him. I saw him. He's about the same size as that last one. Same size. I wish it was a brown. I wish it was a brown. Yeah, that's right. He was not happy at all. MVP. He's like, hey, man, that's my mouth. What you doing? It's funny. I can tell like these trout that have never been caught before. Boy, they spaz out, man. They spaz like, oh, they have no idea what's going on. Some of the ones that have been caught a couple times, you know what I mean? They just kind of give in. But the other ones, oh, they just spaz like him. He knew he wasn't hooked that bad. And if he did the head shake enough, he could rip it out of his lip. All right. Let's go do it. Alan, hey. Cause I'm living here in Allentown. It's hard to keep a good man down. I got it every time I see Alan pop in. That song pops in my head. So one of these days, I got to just sing some Allentown. Cause we're living here in Allentown. Good morning, Alan. Blew you up. That's one of the things that Lashana mentioned. She talked about last night in her live, and I thought it was really cool. And she mentioned that she doesn't moderate anybody, and it's for kind of creates an energy that everyone is equal in her chat. And I've definitely noticed that before. When I know everybody from this community, I'll go to somebody's live and they haven't moderated me up. It just feels a little strange. I'm like, oh, my friends are blue. I'm like, why am I not blue? And so sometimes it'll just take me a second to remember, oh yeah, that's that person. And I always try to give everybody the same. So their name looks, they don't feel out of place, because you're like, oh, well, why is everybody else a moderator in this channel? Even if you're not really trying to connect with others, it just creates an air of equality. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, Alan. It's like, I if I may not remember, because some names are similar, I'll pay attention to the chat, and everybody else is like, oh, hey, blah, 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 saying hi. So I'm like, okay, then they obviously remember everybody. I try not to get salty about it, but it does affect me, and I notice it, and I just feel like, oh. And I'm the kind, when I studied martial arts, I grew up watching Grasshopper, Kwai Chang Kang. I grew up watching Kung Fu, and a big part of that. Yeah, I think so. I'm saying it always ends up being okay. Also, I do it anyway. I just handle it. Yep, exactly. And but so I grew up in that idolizing Asian martial arts, especially Kung Fu. And a big part of that was you don't ask, you wait to be offered. The ones who rush in and ask for something will get denied. And so that's always the way I am about moderating things. If someone doesn't want to give me a moderator, that's fine, but I'm definitely not going to ask you. Never going to ask for anything in this world. I studied at a Shaolin temple for about 1.5 years, and they had a bunch of secret meetings that I would see people get together and do. And I'd be like, huh? I would see them write stuff on the board for this meeting or that meeting, and I would see people talk about it, and I didn't ask a single thing. I didn't ask, what is that? What goes on? What's that club on Friday you guys getting together to do? Nothing. And then, 6, 7, 8 months later, they were like, oh, hey, we got this blah, blah, blah. We have this special training, and we like, to offer you to come in. It was one of the strictest things I ever dealt with. Yeah, this is just incredible. We got some fresh chemtrails being laid down. Angle you guys up so you can see our beautiful chemtrail reality. Our beautiful little fresh chemtrails just got put in the sky. And so after I said to them that sure, I'll join this secret club in the Shaolin Temple, I had to get jured by this panel of about 7 people, about 5 or 6, and there's like 2 or 3 masters that came down, 2 or 3 other students, and each person took about a half hour asking me lots of questions. They wanted basically to make sure that if they taught me these things, that I would never teach another human them, and I would only use them in ultimate self-defense reality. Yeah, Alan, that's kind of what it feels like. You know what I'm saying? You don't want it to, but it just feels that way. It's just like, oh, I'm not part of the group. And so I kind of think that if you're going to make everybody blue, then you got to have like a certain thing. I'll notice people are like, okay, if 2 or 3 people can vouch for you. Yep. Or you'll notice, Fishy, that they come back in and they're not blue when they come back into another live, that they just haven't subscribed to you. Yeah. Oh, it's nice out here. So you can start to see the sun cresting up over those trees over there. There's a term called Indian giver, and you guys may have heard that term in your life. And I'm Native American, so I'll tell you the way I've heard that one, and the way it was in the tribal way. If you created something that was a very powerful medicine tool, and it had a particular purpose for it, and you crafted that thing and you gave that to a person, and they just put it up on a shelf and they don't use it. Let's say in this world, you brought somebody the most amazing rifle in the world because you're a hunter, and you're like, oh, this will help you go feed your family and take care of and provide lots of good stuff, and it's the best rifle you could ever imagine, and you give it to your buddy, and then he just puts it on a shelf and he doesn't use it, and 3 years have gone by, and you're like, oh. So in the old tribal way, you had the right to actually go back there and just grab that item and take it back, because you created it for a certain purpose, and this was not being used for that reason. So they would call it being an Indian giver, and it just meant that if we made something very special that had a lot of intention and power to it, and you, for whatever reason, said you were going to use it, but you didn't, you had the right to do that. So a lot of people misunderstood that term. They just thought it meant coming and just taking something or whatever. But no, what it really meant was the fact that you created that with a particular intention, and that person is dishonoring you by not using it for that intention. You, as the creator of such item, have every right to go give it back, put it in the hands of somebody who will use it. Sweet cast, way out there. Sweet. All right, Kukiana. Yeah. Yeah, that's where that term really comes from, and that's really the meaning and the essence behind it all. Yeah, absolutely. Also, I was probably a misunderstood thing out there. Since I got a few of you on the line who care, have you ever heard the word squaw? Don't use that word. That word does not mean what most white people think it means. Squaw is not a good word. Squaw is one of the most offensive words that's ever used in Native American language. Most people don't know, so don't ever call it a squaw fish. Don't ever call it Squaw Valley. If there's something in your world that says squaw on it, it is a very derogatory term. Yeah, it actually, if you want to know the truth, it comes from the Nesqual, and what they would say is they would say Nesqua. They would say those two words, Nesqua, when a young maiden was being violated. And it translates to no male member. The male member that all of us male has, she's saying, no, don't use that on me. So it actually, squaw means the male member. That's the name of it. It translates strictly to the male genitalia. So when she says Nesqua, she's saying no genitalia because she didn't want to be assaulted. So it was not a good word. And so a lot of these old folks, they still have it on maps, they still have it on lakes and stuff like that. So just don't use that if you guys didn't know that already. Yeah, I didn't know how graphic to be here on YouTube, but that's what Nesqua means. When a woman was raped, that's the word she would yell. And so the French soldiers were like, oh, she's yelling that word, squaw. And so they would just, oh, look at that squaw. And that's where they got it from. And she was yelling because she didn't want to be raped. So not a good reality, not a good word, not a good reverberation for all these years. California, it's so beautiful. So nice to have you in here. You get to see the beautiful little lake that we fish at. I brought one in. I lost one fish. I had him right there. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Osa. Yeah, I always wanted, to dance around and be politically correct in this environment so no one gets hurt, offended. I think that's what kind of like I notice we're going through in this age is an age of exposing a lot of the darkness that we had in our past as humans. And on an individual level, for each individual to, shed their darkness. I live in this spiritual community, and a lot of people here are like, oh, I'm a light warrior, I'm this and that. And they focus on the good, they focus on the beauty, they focus on being positive all the time. And I love that. But I also understand that God created us with this full range of emotions. You're correct. We have dark side and we have a light side, and you can't ignore your dark side. It's like ignoring the negative emotions you may have. Eventually they'll just come popping up. They'll pop up in the worst way, most inconvenient time. That's what the counselors taught me. Those negative emotions that you haven't processed, those things in life, it'd be like taking a pit bull or trapping it in your basement because you just don't want to look at it. And then eventually when you have guests over, that dog is going to come bursting out because it's hungry and it wants attention. And that's what repressed issues are like. You don't deal with them for long enough, and then they come out at the worst time. So delving into your shadow side, delving into that stuff that's not fun to look at, because most people just want to be happy and focus on beauty. But times we've been hurt. Sometimes we've had things that get in your way. They become subconscious programming that stop you from being the best you. So delving into that shadow side, that takes a little more courage. Instead of just saying, oh, everything is love, let's just stay rooted in love and everything is going to be okay. It doesn't quite work that way from what I've noticed. You actually got to do that hard work. And it's love that is guiding you to do that work, but it's a mucky process. And it doesn't feel like you're swimming in love when you're dealing with that. So that's what I encourage the youngsters around me to deal with, to stand up with an integrity. And you look at their character when they make a mistake. How do they handle it? When they, how does anyone handle it when they make a mistake? Do they blame others, or do they look at themselves and admit that they made a mistake and learn from their mistake? It's the blaming others, put you in that victim stance. It's not very humbling. It's easy to just to blame the world for why you feel the way you feel, instead of just turning it around. So that's my little It really is fishy. In this country, we don't have what's called sin of the father. In Korea, you do. Oh boy, you can get in trouble in Korea. Sins of the father can get you. Things that happened a generation before you can still be punished for. You can be punished socially and economically. In this country, you're not supposed to be like that. You're supposed to be judged for your actions. And I see a lot of people, and that's what they want to do, is they want to look at the past. Something that happened 10 years ago, 20, maybe 200 years ago. They want to look at the past for a justification, for a reason to have the energy they're giving out. They're not happy, they're judgmental, they're mad and angry. That's the vibration that they really want, and they want validation. So they look for something. Oh, this person held this person down 200 years ago. They get mad and they're like, I demand justice for that action that happened way in the past. And so all they're really doing is allowing themselves to be mad and upset. Because the past is gone. It's long gone. The only thing I see it has a relevance to is like if you build a house, you build any kind of domicile, it has a foundation, it has a structure, and then you build up from there. Eventually, if the foundation you created was never a good one in the first place, then the biggest house of cards you build will just crumble. So that's what I see sometimes in the past, is you can look back and say, well, how was this country formed? How was the United States of America created? Yep. That's one of the things that I was taught in a lot of counseling and anger management and stuff, is to own your own reality and not to give your power away. Don't be like, oh, she pushed my buttons, she made me mad. No. You allowed your buttons to be pushed. That's the better phrasing. I allowed my buttons to be pushed, because then it takes all the power on me. I see people around me that they'll be social justice warriors, and they'll be all mad about this and that. And I'll be like, well, where? I was like, do you see any of this around? And they're like, no. I'm like, where are we sitting now at the park? And all this, there's a couple hundred people playing music, dancing, having fun. Is there anybody being oppressed right now? And they're like, no. But they're so angry. They're so mad about what some politician did somewhere in the South or something, and how somebody's rights are violated. And I'm like, where, my friend? I don't see that. And they're like, but if you go online, you will see it. And I'm like, well, that's what I'm talking about, my friend, is you're choosing to put your energy in a place to get information that allows you to be upset. And it's because you want to. Like my mom used to. She just wanted to be upset. So she would scan the newspaper every day for a reason to validate her emotional feelings. And it was one of anger at the whole world. And so that's what I tell people. What do you want to be? I don't want to be reactive endlessly just because somebody did or said something. The hardest part is, you got high gas prices, you got high this or that. Well, you can't just sit around and blame the world. Get out there, make some more money, earn more money this year. Then you'll maintain that happiness. Oh man, this thing got tangled up. No wonder I wasn't going to catch anything with that. Yeah, exactly. You know, that CNN, Fox, stuff like that. It's very toxic, and it's part of the older generation. And you know, they did the best they could. They excelled as much as they could within reason, and you can see the advancement that happened in my generation, in your generation, Fishy, and um, you can see you can see it happen in the younger generation. It's even more. My my dad married a black woman, so for about the last 25 years of his life, you know, so from 50s throughout 70s and stuff like that. And I learned so much about black women culture and stuff like that, weaves and hair, and she had so many wigs and stuff like that. But she's from that generation where just don't really talk about that. Don't talk about my hair. You know, nobody in public knows about weaves and wigs and stuff like that. She taught my daughter how to do weaves and all kinds of cool stuff. And my daughter, we were just talking the other day. She's like, "Oh, it's different nowadays. The younger black girls, it's like they all talk about it. They don't. They have nothing about talking about their hair. They're like they just talk about it like it's nothing." And so you just see the changes. You can see how over time, different groups just kind of change, and that's how it was. You know, with my stepmom and stuff like that, they didn't talk about their hair in public and stuff like that. And it's just really neat to see the different changes. And my daughter was like, "Oh yeah, it's so different now." And when I grew up, it was not okay to talk about finances. You never asked anybody how much they made. You didn't openly talk about how much money you made. It was just for whatever reason you kept that close to your chest. Not anymore. They can all just talk about it freely. And I started seeing that change, you know, about a decade ago with the youngsters. And it was no problem, you know, and people, all these, "Oh yeah, you know, I make 55,000 a year. I have roughly blah 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 in my bank." I might be getting a bite. No, I'm not. I missed him. So I think it's really cool. That's the way I kind of see it. Is like our societies tend to evolve, and I don't blame my father. I don't blame his generation. You know, they did the best they could. They were only taught so much, and they only did so much. And I'd say same thing with your dad, Fishy. He just comes from that generation. Oh yeah, he stripped that worm. He almost killed that worm. Yeah, I think there's one called parabolia. I think that's where you see particular shapes in things in nature, like a tree. It'll look like a human face. And I think that's where we have this desire to see certain things that we want to kind of see, and so we'll kind of create them. We'll take shapes and kind of create something that looks familiar. Man hears what he wants to hear and disregards the rest. Yeah, exactly, man. That's exactly where I'm at. Laughter and love and beauty. And sometimes we've got to go through the muck to get there, but it's worth it. Wow, it's a way out there cast. Casted about halfway across that lake. Wow, it's nice out here. You can start to see the sun coming cresting up over there. Got about another 20 minutes. I'll probably wrap it up. Got band. Good band practice today. Yeah. You know, there's so many times that I've seen so many things that I tend to Mama, how are you? It's really what I've come to believe. You know, it is really in your thoughts. Your thoughts create. It's not that seeing is believing. It's more like believing is seeing. And so when you oh, I'm doing well, Mama. People thought it was that. It was always like seeing is believing, but it's actually just the opposite. It's you know, believing is seeing. And so, you know, a lot of information like that has really made me question, in a certain sense, what this experience is. Yo, Back Mountain, what is up? Out here in God's country, watching the. Let's see if I can get a little. Oh yeah, you guys can see the sun's gonna crest up over these beautiful trees here soon. Working, yeah, I'm working hard at fishing. Talking with chat. Oh, that's so beautiful, fishy. Yeah, I got one on. I got one all the way up to show the camera, and I got one that was about 3 feet away when it came off. He wasn't very happy. He was hooked lightly by the lip, but two kinda. One fully enough to show the camera. A couple other hits that I missed out on. And I'm watching them right over here to my left. I'm watching a whole lot of little action, so I'm thinking I might get rid of my. Oh, that might be the duck. Sorry, then I think about it. We got these ducks over here that jump down. Yep, trout. Belly flop. Hey, we got these strange ducks. They might be a bluefin, I think. There's like this white and black guys. And I'll look over and I see what looks like a fish boil. It looks like a fish just jumped. But it's these little ducks. I get excited because I'm like, oh, I'm going to go throw my line over there because there's fish popping up. And there's these strange little black and white guys. Oh, it's going to be nice here today. I was getting envious, man. I was watching people like Bob had a couple nice 70-degree days, you know, a couple weeks ago. Heard Fishy, I think he got close to 80 there in Wisconsin. Yeah. Late dinner. Nice. Yeah, you know, I hate losing those giants. Yeah, just that one good day. That's what I didn't notice though. Yes. The way I fish, you know, like I said, being native, I always give offering beforehand before I turn on the live. You guys never see it, but I kind of give offering to any of the fish, any of the spirit of those animals that wish to come forth to please do. And so my philosophy has always been that even at the last second, if that fish gets off, he wasn't meant to be. Usually I keep all the fish. A lot of times I make plant food out of them, but I'm so stocked up on plant food. And when I'm hooking these fish nicely, I let them go. If they're gutturally hooked, then I keep them. But that's my thing, is I usually ask the ones that want to, you know, to get eaten to please come. And so it took me a while to get used to it. But, you know, when I get equipment failure and I get a big bite and I go to set the hook and I get a backlash or something weird happens, and I lose the fish. I'm like, oh, that wasn't the fish. That wasn't him. He didn't want to come. So that's how when they get off at the last second. But a couple years ago when I was learning, man, I would jump into water when I have like a 24-inch fish that gets off right there. But that's before I got a nice net. Then I would just I'm like, no, I'm eating you. I've gotten soaked. But yeah, I just came to that balance with them. And in the native tradition, we did a lot of asking and a lot of offering. And so when we would want to take a buffalo, we would go out and we would ask the herd for them to present one to us. And they actually would. And the buffalo would have a routine about themselves, and it would be really interesting. The buffalo itself would turn and face all 4 directions. This is before the brave would shoot it with an arrow. And after it turned all 4 directions, it would turn to the brave, and then it would turn its head in a certain direction, which just opened up its chest, allowing the brave to have a perfect shot. And it would, it just gets shot by the arrow and it just lays down. And I was reading probably like 6 years ago about a beautiful woman who raised buffalo. And she was in Colorado, and her herd, she was a nice native style woman. It got to be too big, and she was ready to the point where she needed some culling. And so she invited a bunch of people to come, and they did the similar ceremony. 200 and some years later, the buffalo did the exact same thing. When they asked of it, the buffalo got ready, and the buffalo turned and faced all 4 directions. And then he turned and exposed his chest to them. And so even now, if we follow the energetics of nature, and we work within the boundaries that they like, if you will, the animals and fish like, then they have no problem giving to us. They'll give to us endlessly. If you're a taker and you don't ever acknowledge them or their right and their beautiful existence, then they don't seem to give as much. So that's how I kind of do it. I always ask. And, I catch a lot of fish to feed my friends and family. And so when it's that time and it's like, okay, guys, we really need some stuff. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. I'll catch these big fish and they don't fight at all. And this fish, it's the kind of fish that could fight for like 20 minutes. And it just, when you catch it, you just reel it in and you're so surprised. You're like, this is a 25-inch fish. He didn't fight one. And it was an offering. He was ready to feed you. There's a lot of ways we used to walk more in harmony and balance with nature. And then it kind of just got snuffed out. And now people are kind of choosing to live a little bit more in harmony. Oh, there goes the kingfisher. And that's the one thing that I notice. I think that's what will give people a lot more success. Let me see if we can get this. I don't know, maybe I can show you this duck. That guy. Yeah, nah, it's not going to come too clear. That's the duck. I've been trying to figure out who he is. There we go. Yeah, it's taken me a long time from the native kind of standpoint. I have this connectiveness with the earth. It's an intuition. It's a form of communication. Unless you understand it, unless that is you, it's really hard to teach to people and to express. Basically, you kind of shut your mind off and you follow your heart and your emotion and your intuition. You let that guide you. And if you studied the heart and heart math and things like that, you can understand like the frequency of the heart and how much it transmits. And when you start sinking into the frequency of your heart versus your head, yeah, I touched on the duck and it gave me a circle on my screen and it didn't do anything. I was like, huh. It just circled her. It did a little circle, but it didn't focus any better on the guy. I think I might have had it too magnified where it just lose the focus of the magnification. I'll try it again at some point, see if it work. So it seems to me that when you freed yourself and you are the creator in your own world, then you automatically start aligning yourself with kind of a natural way of living. You don't want to take more than you need. You don't want to live a destructive lifestyle. You want to be a happy, beautiful person that creates joy for the world and all the other humans around you. And so that just kind of seems to be an automatic that I'm noticing. People want to start eating better. And that's what I appreciate. You know, I watch Luciana and I watch some of these other people, and they'll talk about all kinds of health. And it's like, oh, it's so lovely to see so many people in the world trying to be emotionally healthy, spiritually healthy, physically healthy. Yeah. It's an interesting quandary there, Fishy. You know, where we're at out here, you know, we have these hatcheries that stock them with all these trout. So a lot of people just kind of have the opinion that they're put there for me to catch. Now, I don't know what it would be like if you caught, say, wild fish. I don't know if the carp and the catfish, I assume those guys are not stocked. I assume those things just got there and they just been in there and you guys are just catching. Hey, darn right, man. Be surprised, man. The way I was taught that way is the world is made up of two different realities: a left world and a right world. And the right side of the world is everything we can touch, everything physical, my phone, these rocks, my fishing pole. The left side of the world is everything that fits into imagination, everything that's non-touchable, non-tangible. Bigfoot fits into that one too. So many lores of Bigfoot. And so this world, it teaches you the things on the right side of experience really easy. They teach you all about, you know, driving a car, riding a bicycle, reading a book and stuff like that. But all the other aspects, from our emotional body to angels to God to, you know, what they call demons and to purgatory, you name it, all the way up to multiple universes, parallel earths, anything imaginable, that all fits in on the left side, and it's not taught very well. And it's often put down or negated if it is taught. If you see things, if you see spirits, or you're a dreamer that gets visions, then that stuff can be put down. ZR, hello. So that's what I've noticed in this world. The right side of reality is kind of easy to navigate, but the other side, where all these interesting creatures come from, like you got one that the rare road guy, and you know, we got Sasquatches out here in the Pacific Northwest. Indonesia, beautiful, beautiful. South, hey buddy. Got a few more minutes here, South. I'm gonna wrap it up. Another 10 minutes. I gotta slowly gather my stuff, get back to the house. I am in Northern California, really close to the Oregon border, fishing a small little lake. Lake is probably a mile in length and probably a little less than half a mile at its widest point. So it's kind of a long, skinny lake. Yeah, there were so many strange things that went on in the native world. I kind of, I don't know how many things are held over, or like holdover things from a past, like the Wendigo and like a lot of these interesting creatures that there was a time in an era where it seemed like the animals and nature worked with humans. The bear would bestow its power upon you and things like that. And that part of humanity, it seems to be over. But we still have some of these interesting creatures and things that are still hidden, are still around. I've seen a lot of things that are very hard to explain that definitely they don't. And in the native way of looking at it, you know, like there's a Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. We have Creator, Great Spirit, and Great Mystery. The Holy Ghost would be considered something similar to what we call Great Mystery. And the Great Mystery, there is no answer. Within the Great Mystery, you got to be comfortable that there's not answers to every question. And that's why it's a mystery. And so a lot of native belief is that there's a lot of interesting things that go on, creature, shape-shifting, all kinds of other different things that happen in reality. Yep, exactly. And so for me, you know, I've seen so many parallels, which all just have shown me that we all speak this different languages. We're all on different roads, but we're all heading to the same direction. We're all going to the same place. We all may have 100 different names for what we call God. We may call it Creator or something in the native way, but it's all the same. So a long time ago, I stopped being, you know, even slightly offended at others' beliefs. My beliefs do not require you to believe any way you want. Believe how you wish. I'm confident in my beliefs enough that others can believe however they want. South Wisconsin, you know, I still am curious about the validity of some of those. Two magical phrases, right on. Let's hear them. So yeah, I'm still unsure about the validity. I saw one where twins did their DNA tests, and they both came back with completely different results. And I saw this on a couple occasions. So it's like, I don't know if I believe them yet. So that's where I was at on that one. It's like, you know, that's a lot of information you're going to take into your head. Sweet. That's two good things to get out of it, Fishy. You know, Bob Weir was a wow. Only 15%. Interesting. Bob Weir from the Grateful Dead. He was the rhythm guitar player and the singer from the Grateful Dead. He said, you know, LSD will make you take a really good look at yourself, and you better like what you see. And so I've kind of noticed that about certain psychedelic experiences for people, is they'll really give them a wonderful opportunity to self-examine. No, that was Jerry Garcia, and then Phil Lesh passed away recently. He was the bass player that passed away recently. Yeah, exactly. There's times for me, where I could remind myself of my multidimensional self that will live on for an eternity after this body that I'm in passes. And so that is an energetic connection to my true higher self. And then I am here living in this body as well, doing things. And so I'll have this reality. That was me bumping my rods. I'll have this dualistic reality. And so if things get tough or things get really difficult times, you can remind yourself that this is just a temporary experience. This is just a dream we dreamed one afternoon long ago. And then you don't take it so serious. And it's like, oh, all right, everything's going to change. Everything will pass. But when you're stuck in the throes of it, and you're really just rooted in your body, and that's all you're looking at, that's all life is from a physical standpoint, then that's when like depression and anxiety, and you could be stuck in a terrible traffic jam in LA, and you feel like life sucks. Yep. I tend to believe that, you know. Used to hang out with a bunch of different people in the woods, and they were just a group. At the core of it, they said, we are just living light. That's all we are. We're embodied living light. And that was just their belief, is we're just living light. And I was like, yeah, it makes sense. It feels good. Yeah, exactly. I've always been drawn to minerals. Like I was saying, if I was raised a long time ago in a tribal scenario, when I was a young boy, they would have saw that I was always talking to the stones, and they would have noticed that, and then they would have put me in a special group of the tribe called rock medicine. And the sun's starting to appear up, and so for me, that's always been like an ally. The stones have kind of spoken to me, and it's been easy to connect with them and find where they are, and I'll ask the stones that want to help humanity to please come forth, and they will. And so years ago, I was like, well, what is my mission? How can I help humanity? What's the best way I can serve humanity? And I kept getting the same answer. But sometimes you doubt. I mean, you have a little part somewhere deep inside you that's like, oh, I wonder if that's really true. Oh, thank you so much, Mama. I appreciate you. I'll have to come check you out. Fishy speaks nothing but beautiful, beautiful things about you, Bowman. Appreciate you being here. And so, got sidetracked. Sorry about that on chat. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I hear Raven over there. We got road pavement going on here. This road got tore up real bad, and we got some big heavy equipment that's doing stuff right now. So, yeah, okay, that's what I was going to say. So I had a moment of like, well, maybe I'll ask another. And so I was doing this, what people would call shamanic work. It was like this year-long class where it's called Deepening Spirit. And you could do these journeys. Oh, yeah. Darn right. Got to see it. You got to envision it, man. You got to envision it. You really do. You picture that big fish and then bam. And so during this class we were taking, I asked this woman, she didn't know me. She was just there for this weekend class to do this journey that we were doing, where she would, go into this journey and connect to these allies that she has. And so I asked her, I was like, oh, because that was the thing. We're doing a journey for another person. And so she asked me what I wanted the spirit to answer for her. And I was like, well, ask them about, what is the best way that I can assist humanity right now? And so she did a journey. And this is a woman who has nothing to do with crystals and stones. And she saw all these amazing things, and she started listing out names of stones. She's like, is there some stone called tourmaline? She's like, I see you in this place selling crystals and doing all this. And she literally described the world that I was living in, where I would go to these mind, body, spirit festivals, expos, and I would sell crystals and things to people. And it was just that other pat on the back of, you knew all along, son, what you're supposed to be doing. But just in case you had a moment of doubt, this other woman is here to verify. Yeah, I got past medium. I've kind of gone to a large to extra large kind of size nowadays, Wisconsin. Bum, bum, bum. No, I get you, man. Every time someone says a medium, I got to throw the large out there. Yeah, that was my ex for a long time. She went and trained in Boulder for about a year in psychic, beautiful spiritual work. Yeah, we manifest on a daily basis. It seems like, Fishy. You manifest all the time. That's what I realize is no matter if you're a good person or you're a bad person, you're always manifesting your food. You're always creating. You're always manifesting the things you need in that direct moment. It just seems like the ones who are out of control don't always understand. Yeah, I've always felt love was more of a green, and at times it has pink, like the color of the heart chakra. Oh, get hit. That's a fish, guys. We got a fish on. Fish on. Fish on. Oh, yeah, he's woo. You guys must saw that. He's a jumper. He's a jumper. He's a jumpy. He's a jumpy. Woohoo. He's a jumpy. Woohoo, Bucky. He's not a happy. Oh, he's a cute little chunky. He's chunky monkey. Come on, chunk. Come on, chunks. This is a female, I think. No color on her. That last one had all that amazing, beautiful rainbow on it. This is a silver goddess here. Come on, baby. Let's get that out. Oh, these fish have been hooked so nice recently. It's been so easy to deal with these fish. Oh, she's chunks. He's little chunks. I'm gonna let you go real quick, baby. Don't give me grief. Don't give me some grief. Oh, hi, everybody. How doing? Fish head, roly poly fish head. Fish head, fish head. Eat them up, yum. I took a fish head to the movie. It didn't cost to get him in. I took another fish head to another movie. And it did not cost to get that one in. Rainbow trout, fish on, fish on. Sweet. Oh, yeah, we get the sun coming in, guys. I'll give you a glimpse of her peeking in over here. Oh, yeah, now I got you, fishy. You're talking about the standard American lifestyle kind of thing. Fish head. That I get. That will bring you nothing but unhappiness, man. You try and keep up with the Joneses. You're trying to keep up with it's like an artificial reality. You're living inside a shell, trying to constantly fill it with all these materialistic things and all these things that aren't natural. Now that I get. I go see the light. Oh, it's so beautiful. It sits here and it bounces off the water. I'll let you guys catch a little bit of the sunrise, even though or the sunbeam coming in here. I'll shut the chat down in a minute. Yeah, it sounds like you've shifted. You've phased into manifesting a much better grounded reality, fishy, where you got better people. It sounds like a better partner, a better lifestyle you've chosen for yourself. I've never wanted riches and fame. All the things I did when I was around people, they were doing them fast and hot and heavy to make tons of money. I had a different philosophy of slow and steady, like the turtle. Slow and steady will win the race. But that, still got a line in. My dad was the kind who tried to keep up with the Joneses, drive a $100,000 car in the 80s and just had an image to always upkeep. And I watched companies just eat him alive. And no matter how hard he worked. Yeah, exactly. We had this guy who'd hang out at these gatherings. He went by the name Grandpa Woodstock. He was one of the oldest guys, like in the late 80s. He would sit there. One time he circled a bunch of us around, give us a little knowledge, drop some stuff on us. He's like, kids, I got to tell you. He's like, I didn't start living life until I stopped worrying about where the bread I'm going to eat tomorrow will come from. He's like, I didn't start living life until I stopped thinking about where tomorrow's food's going to come from. Yeah. And so it made sense because I used to stress. I used to worry about stuff and I always try to work for tomorrow and make sure I had enough to pay for blah, 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 the what ifs of life. And he was like, you know what? I've been good. The old man said, I've been good and I've been bad in this world. And God always took care of me. I always made sure I had food. So he's like, I've learned to just stop worrying, stop stressing about it, and just live life and express myself being the best I can. But don't worry. Exactly. I tell people, freedom is an illusion. Freedom is an illusion. So you look at a bird and you're like, oh, I wish I could fly like a bird. It's like, well, can that bird fly up to the moon? Exactly, hobo. The more we gather is the more we have to lose. And so freedom is just an illusion. You think other creatures or other something has all this freedom because you're like, no, it's still bound to the earth. It can't, a bird can't live underwater. And so freedom is just something you think that you wish to have that you don't. And so there's certain freedoms though. I see these people in the town I live in that they just want to hang out and not work at all. It's got to be a happy person who sits there waiting for a handout. And yeah, exactly. Well, you got to pay for it, man. And so I'll hook you up. Oh, well, you've been hanging out for a couple of days. You seem like a real sweet guy, man. And so for me, that's what it all came down to realizing is, I tell people that there's all kinds of different levels of freedom. You can have the freedom that you're not working a bunch and you're sitting at this park and you're finding a way to live off food stamps and a little bit of donations that people give you, but then you don't have much. You can't travel, you can't build a home, you can't do much. So your only way you can get around the world is hitchhiking. So yeah, you got the freedom because you're not working, but you got no money. Then you got that time where people will spend all their days working. They get all the money, but they have no freedom because they're bound to their job. Yeah, exactly. I think that's what happens is we give up that idea that we're in control, and you just live. You be the best expression of yourself and you leave all those other big things to others. And that's one of the biggest things that helped me is to stop trying to feel like I need to do things for others, that I need to help, elevate other humans. And it's my job to do that. I used to come from a standpoint of thinking that other humans need fixing, whether religious fixing, physical. I thought that it was part of my experience to preach the word that I have learned to find happiness and health. And I didn't understand though, by having that mindset, I was kind of judging people instead of understanding that everyone is perfect. God created them in the perfect condition. They're learning the lessons they need to learn at that moment. Who am I to judge somebody and say everyone needs to be in a state of bliss? Everyone needs to be in a state of godlyhood. So it took me a long time. Amen to that, hobo. I mean, it's just true. It took me a long time. I wanted to help. I had a bit of a savior complex. I wanted to be the Yoda. I wanted to be a Jedi. I wanted to be the guy that was going to make the difference to save the humanity, to put balance in the universe. I wanted to be Luke Skywalker. And I've just had to come to realization. And I think it just comes from a place of love and care, but a lot of us have gone through that where we want to be the savior. And then you got to realize the only one that there is to save is yourself. You got to save yourself from thought, negativity. Exactly, South. Cool. I'll keep that in mind, hobo. I'll have to come check that out then. I'll have to watch. Okay. That sounds good. That sounds good, Fishy. All right, all you wonderful people. I think I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate your guys' ear and conversation. You guys are the best. Hey, man. Kukiana, that is about as good as you can get, man. I made some great baked beans the other day. Oh, so happy to share them with my daughter. Just beautiful, man. Just beautiful. I live for stuff like that. I'm getting ready to grow so many beautiful vegetables and things like that. I just grow them for others. I grow tons of beautiful things, garlics, and I got about 700 garlic plants in the ground this year. Oh, and onions. I just love giving stuff away. It just makes me happy. Well, you beautiful people, I appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. Fishy, you are the best. I will see you on your live later on. I'll come chat with you. Everybody else in here, I'll come check you out if you do lives. Oh, lemon. Like lemon basil? Oh, that must. Oh, you know you're in Hawaii, so you got maybe real lemons. Oh, that's cool. All right, a couple hours south. All right, Buck, Fishy, Kukiana. It's been a privilege. You guys are all amazing people. Go out there and do good things with your time. Be good humans. All right, guys. Blessings.